Hey folks, welcome back to my channel, Andy Boy Comics and Toys. I just wanted to take this opportunity to show off some of my fabulous Star Wars Black Series action figures. Now I have quite a few of these guys. There's about another dozen or so up on the shelf that I'm looking at off screen here. But I think most of these ones I haven't really talked about before, or you know, I'm just here to talk about them. I'm not here to review them or to judge them in any way. Well, yeah, I can say, hey, I like this or I don't like that. Hey, I'm allowed to do that, right? Opinion. Now I got 8 characters here on the table. Just, you know, begging for some exposure. Now, I'm not going to do these in any particular order, like in the order of the movies or the order that I like them or rank them or anything like that. Just want to show them to you because I think they're cool. Now, the best way to do that, however, is I am going to switch tripods to a tabletop tripod, or I might even just go handheld, so buckle in. It might get shaky. Okay, I decided I'm going handheld. So hold on to your lunch. Hopefully you don't get motion sickness. Now, first up on the left here, Master Yoda. Now this is the Empire Strikes Back Yoda, I believe. You know, he's got all the trappings of the classic 3 3/4 scale figure from back in the day. He comes with a snake. And that's a pretty awesome snake. I think I might use that in a D&D game, actually. That's how good that snake is. And he does come with a cane. He's got some bling around his neck. I'm not really sure what that is. I didn't really notice that very much in the movie. Of course, he's got like cloth robes, which are bound to get frayed. So actually, he's got some threads coming off there. I gotta trim those. And this was curious, since this is the Empire Strikes Back version of Yoda, he came with a little lightsaber though, like his, you know, traditional green saber. And yeah, I just thought that was an odd inclusion. I mean, it's cool in case I want to recreate some battle scenes from Revenge of the Sith or something like that. Yeah, but I was under the impression that, like, Yoda didn't have a lightsaber in The Empire Strikes Back, or at least he didn't use it, because I had thought he maybe, like, dropped it or lost it when he was fighting Palpatine, and you never see it again after that. So, no, I just, you know, just kind of curious. I mean, I suppose he could have built a new one. He was on Dagobah for, like, 20 years before Luke found him. And, I mean, Luke slapped one together in, like, 2 months between Empire and Jedi, or 6 months, or however long that's supposed to be. And yeah, anyway, this Yoda, I think it's a pretty cool figure. Good detail on his face and stuff, and I like his little claws and his little toes. Yeah, glad I got that guy. Just crappy that it costs, you know, the same as like a giant figure like Darth Vader. I mean, there's way less plastic being used here. Still, he wasn't like outrageously expensive or anything. He's not a premium Yoda. Moving along, we got Leia in her Hoth gear. She's got that big old blaster in her hand. Good sculpt on this one too. It actually really looks like Carrie Fisher, I think. And some would say more so than the Rogue One cameo. Then she's got, for some reason, she's got like goggles in her hand. Now that's like, I guess she was carrying those around or using them in aboard the Millennium Falcon when they're parked in the asteroid cave. And it actually came with a little tool she was using there too. When she's like fixing the ship and Han Solo comes in and basically, you know, hits on her, and they kiss, and it's all very romantic and whatever. And then all of a sudden, this guy shows up. Sir, I've isolated the main power coupling. Good for you. Yeah, it's a real. I'm glad I got this one. This is the only Princess Leia that I own. And I went for this one over the New Hope style Leia because I didn't like that big poofy cloth robe they put on her. I mean, it works with Yoda here because that's kind of how he dressed, you know. With Leia, it was more. I mean, why didn't they just go out of their way and just like, or why did they go out of their way to put a cloth cape on her when they could have just sculpted, you know, all that stuff? It would have looked better, I think. Then we got Dooku, who towers above Leia, actually. I suppose in real life, like Christopher Lee was a pretty tall dude. I mean, he played Frankenstein, and yeah, all that, Saruman. Yeah, it comes with his cool saber. You can maybe not really tell, but it's kind of like got the curve in the handle. Yeah, that's a pretty good sculpt of Christopher Lee, I might say. His cape, while it is cloth, looks really good on him, and I think that was the right choice for this figure. Count Dooku is in here because, I mean, other than Darth Maul, who I've featured in other videos, he is now only the second of my Black Series collection to be from the prequel trilogies. I mean, I would like to get an Obi-Wan. I think I would prefer the Revenge of the Sith Obi-Wan. And Anakin as well, Revenge of the Sith Anakin. And I gotta get a Jar Jar, so I don't care what anybody says. Jar Jar, Qui-Gon, you know, I need the icons. Then we got Vader. Darth Vader has a sweet cloth cape. And he's got an actual like little metal chain around his neck to hold his cape on. Good detail on his chest and stuff. He's got like 2 layers of cloth robes on here. Yeah, really good detail on this guy. This is probably my favorite of my Black Series figures, just because it's frickin' Darth Vader. I mean, I'm really partial to the Chewbacca and C-3PO, but I mean, this guy's the classic. He's the Star Wars icon, right? Speaking of icons, I think I just was speaking of icons. One cool feature about this is his, come on now, removable helmet. Help me take this mask off. I'm trying, buddy. I'm trying to do it with one hand here, holding the camera. There we go. There's that bald guy. Now, while this is a really good sculpt of a figure here, there's one thing that I think is that his face should sit a little lower as compared to this thing here. Like, this is usually like higher up and almost covers his mouth. But I don't know, it just seems like his head's poking out of there more than it was in the actual movie. Return of the Jedi, that is. So, we'll put that back on. Yeah, Darth Vader. What can I say about the guy that hasn't already been said by a billion YouTube videos? But I'm glad I got this guy. I think I paid about 40 or 50 bucks for him. Got Cassian Andor. He actually came with a helmet that I put in a box somewhere because I'd like to actually see his face. Pretty good sculpt on him. I mean, these, you know, that's one thing I can say about most of the Black Series figures is they have really good sculpts. Like, and they really look like the characters even the actors that they're supposed to represent. This one's a little off. I mean, she still looks good, but she looks more like a Barbie doll than Felicity Jones. Cassian Andor's pretty cool. He's wearing like the retro, almost Han Solo jacket. He came with a blaster rifle, and he's got also a pistol in his holster there. Yeah, he's got like cold weather gear on. He's got a parka with a fur-lined hood. I like his character from Rogue One. He was one of the better ones. By contrast, Jyn Erso, it's not that I didn't like the performance, and not that I didn't like the actress, and I did like her, but I just found that she was the one character that should have been more developed and fleshed out. Seeing as she was a main character, there should have been more about her. Like, she didn't really have character like story arc or anything like that. Basically, she was just the one that everything happened to, like a, you know, your third person character in a third person video game. Like it's like you were playing a video game with Jyn Erso as the your on screen character. Anyway, she's okay. Actually, the sculpt on her figure is really good, and she's a little more petite than some of the others, with the exception of Leia, because I do believe the actress is really not. She's she's not that tall. Then we got K2SO. I love this guy. He looks super cool, and he's super tall. And I just decided to knock over Jyn Erso there. I just decided to give him this nice, sweet little lunchbox that I found with some other toy. Of course, I slapped a Darth Maul sticker on there, so he's like a edgy Imperial droid. Anyway, then last and kind of least out of these figures, I have Poe Dameron, which his sculpt is not the greatest, but it's not bad. I like the fact that they kind of painted on a little bit of 5 o'clock shadow on him. Pretty rough looking dude. He's got the leather jacket on. It's like Fonzie with a gun. That's kind of what he reminds me of here. Yeah, he's pretty cool. I like Poe Dameron. I like his character in the sequel trilogy. He's just kind of, I don't know, he's just kind of a dick, in most of it. But he's alright. He's got some good lines and stuff. He is a unique character in the Star Wars universe, I think, in the sequel trilogy. Unique in that he's not really, like, people can argue against that and say, oh, he's just filling the role of Han Solo or whatever, and no, I don't think so. I mean, maybe a little bit, but he brings his own character to the table. Like, he brings his own story, backstory, and blah, blah, blah. He's this hotshot pilot and whatever. He's got a sketchy past, but he's a hero, And like I said, he might be kind of a dick, but he is a hero. So, yeah, you go, Poe.